Hi, my name is Brian Robbins, and I am a general agent with GotZoom. Thank you for joining me. So, for years, we've all been hearing about the rise of the student loan benefit. Well, with 70% of college students today leaving university with student loans, the time for employers to be rolling out this benefit really is right now. The way that most student loan platforms work is that they lower an employee's interest rate by consolidating or refinancing the loan from, say, 6% down to 4%. GotZoom's approach to student loan is completely different than every other platform out there. When GotZoom is offered to an employee base, it enables live counselors to identify federal student loan subsidies on behalf of your employees. On average, GotZoom lowers an employee's monthly student loan payments by 83.4%, and that's from the day they enroll in the program. Now, before we jump into the slides, you should know GotZoom's platform as a company they founded in 2012. They were a service to help individual clients access the federal student loan subsidy program. So at that point, they were a business to consumer platform. In the last 18 months, they began rolling the platform out to employers. In that time, several big names have endorsed the platform, including the Children's Hospital Association. Not just one children's hospital, the entire association has endorsed it. Enterprise Car Rental is another. Kansas City school districts. I could go on about the number of clients they have. All right, this gives you a little background to the crisis. It is $1.5 trillion worth of debt affecting 44 million people. This is the second largest debt class in the US, second only to home mortgages, and it's the highest delinquency rate of any debt class in America. But what many people don't know is that there are billions of dollars in federal subsidies available to your employees. All right, when you read the first bullet point on this slide, it's easy to understand that second bullet point. Over half of millennials now prefer a student loan benefit over a 401k benefit, which makes sense. If you have, nearly $300 per month for the next 20 years, that's more what you're focused on than you are about retirement. All right, so the 70 plus federal subsidy programs referred to on this slide, the way that Congress funds them is that they want to incentivize employees into key industries. So, for example, there might be a nursing shortage in Texas, and Congress wants to react, and so they would, maybe they decide to incentivize nursing by contributing $1 billion to the Texas market to try to help that profession in that market. Um, so the subsidies are based on income, dependent status, zip code, type of employment, etc. And GotZoom's algorithm is constantly being updated with the latest changes to subsidy eligibility. Now, the way to access those over 70 subsidy programs is to go to the Department of Education website. If an individual were to go out to the website, they would have to comb through the 70 plus subsidy programs one at a time, entering data at each level. With GotZoom, the counselors will request data from your employee, so they'll get that data, and then they'll take their algorithm and go out to the Department of Education website and scan all 70 plus subsidy programs in a matter of seconds on behalf of your employee. So just as anyone can do their taxes themselves, anyone can go out to the Department of Education website and try their luck there. But less than 4% of people that go to the Department of Education website actually end up with a subsidy. All right, so each employee and their family members will be offered a free, no obligation subsidy analysis. So the employee will upload information again, as we talked about on the last slide. They'll upload information to the counselors, to GotZoom's counselors. GotZoom's counselors will then compile a free subsidy analysis report for your employees. And then once that employee has reviewed the subsidy amount and they understand what they're eligible for, only then would they enroll in the platform. So only employees that enroll in the platform actually pay anything towards the benefit. So I'll give you two examples. Employee number one uploads their information. they get the free subsidy analysis. They find out that they're eligible for $300 a month subsidy. So they would enroll with GotZoom. Employee number 2 does the same thing. They upload their information. They review their subsidy analysis, but they find out they have a 2 income household, and that household income is too high, so they don't qualify for a subsidy. They don't enroll in the program. They don't pay anything to GotZoom. Only that first employee in this example would enroll in the platform. So it's really, GotZoom's different than any other product that you probably offer from a benefit standpoint. With long-term disability and short-term and health insurance, you pay a premium, and you may or may not get a benefit based on whether you want to see the doctor or not. With GotZoom, only those employees who receive a subsidy actually pay anything towards the benefit. So it really is a huge differentiator for GotZoom, that nobody pays anything towards it until they receive their subsidy. All right, the blue line on this chart represents if the employee does nothing and simply leaves their student loan with the federal loan servicers. Now the orange line represents what every other student loan platform offers. It's refi and consolidation. Again, drops the interest rate from 6% down to 4%. The green line is GotZoom, with an average reduction of 83.4% from the day the employee enrolls in the platform. When you look at this graph, you see that steep green line. You might say to yourself, well, knowing that there's a setup fee and then there's a monthly fee going forward for GotZoom, why wouldn't you just get your subsidy, pay that initial fee, and then leave GotZoom and not pay that the monthly fee going forward? Well, the reason that the employee would want to pay the monthly fee going forward is because federal subsidies have to be annually recertified. Okay, so every year, if an employee were to have a baby or get married, the following year their subsidy would fluctuate. And it's typical that an employee's subsidy will fluctuate from year to year. It doesn't mean they always do, but it's not uncommon that they would. Another example is if an employee, say a nurse, were to switch jobs from the Texas market, they want to move to California market. That would affect their subsidy. They would want to call GotZoom's counselors and say, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And then the counselors would tell them, hey, that's going to negatively impact your subsidy. It's not worth the raise that you're going to get. But they would offer that employee the information so that they could make a good determination. So those factors will all factor into the following year's subsidy amount. All right, GotZoom's corporate headquarters is in Kansas City, where they recently added a new call center. So they have their established call centers on the West and East Coast, and now there are counselors with accents from the middle of the country as well in Kansas City. But your employees will not be speaking to people in various third world countries. All of GotZoom's call centers are located onshore here in the U.S. Employees will be uploading some very sensitive data to GotZoom's counselors. We haven't talked about it. It's the last 2 pay stubs, last year's tax return, their federal student loan number, etc. What this slide tells you is that employees will be uploading their data to a very secure, certified FTP site. GotZoom comes with very little employer administration. The employers involved with the first step of this slide. Step 2 and 3 and everything going forward is between GotZoom and the employee directly. Step 1 involves completing an employer app. Then the employer will send email promoting the benefit to their employee base, and GotZoom would like them to include GotZoom on their on their enrollment platform the year that they introduce GotZoom and every year going forward. But there are no open enrollment periods for GotZoom. It can be offered to employees year-round. There's also no renewals. There's no increases that happen from year to year. So it's different than any other benefit. Now, if the employer is funding either the monthly or the setup fee, or they're doing payroll deductions, obviously the employer is going to submit ads and terms. But other than that, there is zero administration on the employers, on the part of the employer. The question I often get on this slide is, can individuals get the same benefit on their own outside of the group platform? And the answer is no, you can't. This is only available to employers. One last thing I'll tell you before we wrap up. GotZoom can be offered not only to immediate family, but it can also be offered to extended family. So you can offer it obviously to your spouse or your kids, but also you can offer it to your nieces and nephews. Grandparents can offer it to grandchildren. Makes it that's a unique benefit to GotZoom. With that, I'll wrap up. My contact information is here. You can contact me directly or work through whatever consultant you're currently using. I appreciate your time and thank you very much.